What's up, boys and girls? Good to see everybody. It's the main man and Johnny C coming at you today on the first Saturday of college ball. And we got a show for you this morning, but we'll see you right after this. Coming up right now, the Swamp News Podcast with your host, Joe Blackburn. It's like a holiday, Johnny C. It's the first Saturday of college ball. Of course, we got started on Thursday. Well, we really got started as college football nation earlier in the week with week 0, quote unquote, as we kicked off earlier in the week with, Vanderbilt and whoever else played early in the week. Of course, our Gators didn't do so hot on Thursday. We'll get to that in a minute. But we missed you yesterday, Johnny C, as I got a little fired up last night as I kind of gave Gator Nation my take on where I thought we were headed in the wrong direction with a few of us. But unfortunately, you weren't able to miss that. You missed that. You were supposed to be on that show yesterday. You got tied up a little bit and we missed you, but you had a lot to say that you wanted to say. So we're going to get to that in a minute. But man, how are you doing, bro? What you up to this morning? How you feeling?
Oh man, I'm doing well. I got some college football playing in the background. Spectrum. Yeah, Spectrum. I would do anything to have a rep or a high up executive of Spectrum watch this right now. I am extremely upset with Spectrum because thanks to them and their lack of negotiation skills with Disney, they have their own issues. I had to go down to a sports bar on Thursday night to catch the Gators game because even though I've always had ESPN, suddenly on Thursday night I didn't. Instead, what I got was a notification that millions of other customers got, letting them know that the negotiations with Disney did not go through, and therefore we would not be able to watch the game. So yes, that's kind of how I'm doing with that. But I do have college football playing in the background. I have let my voice be heard to Disney, as I'm sure millions of others have, about how this is unacceptable and we need to get ESPN back. But I'm watching ABC, so I got Colorado and TCU on with Coach Prime. So that's how I'm doing, man. How about you?
No, exactly right. Although I'm not currently watching any football immediately. I had some things I had to do this morning. I had some work stuff I had to take care of. I've also got some obligations I have to take care of early morning, but I'm looking forward to a full slate. I think most importantly, I'm looking forward to watching that LSU FSU game.
Dude,
tomorrow night.
I can't wait. Can't wait.
Who you rooting for?
I'm rooting for them to get in a massive brawl pregame and both to be disqualified with L's. That's what I'm rooting for. I can't stand LSU. Their fan base has made me absolutely detest them. And I've been all over the country to different stadiums. I've dealt with a lot of different obnoxious fans. LSU takes the cake for me. I can't stand them. Other than them, FSU. I mean, so it really is. It's just like, choose your poison. So I'm rooting for, Brian Kelly and his fake Southern accent to somehow set Norvell off. And the fight starts with the coaches and then it just trickles down. And the next thing you know, it's the players, it's the fans, it's the cheerleaders, it's the mascots. And you know what? NCAA has no other choice but to disqualify them both, making it the best matchup between those two teams that we could ever ask for. And at which point I will Gatorade myself. Yes, I will. In fact,
that would be hilarious.
Yeah, I'm just going to Gatorade bath myself. I'm going to do it. And any of my neighbors, they've seen my fanaticism, with my great big Gator inflatables in the front yard. They won't think anything of it. That my wife leaving me after that will hurt. But you know what? I'll get back on my feet. I've got this show to look forward to, so there's really not much else that I could ask for them to be able to get. We do
have each other. We have each other, John. Johnny, I won't leave you, and I know you well enough to know that your wife won't leave you either. I think she would actually take that Gatorade bath with you if I know well enough.
Hey, you give me some ideas now.
Hold on a second. Turn your camera off. We do not need to see that at the moment, but. Look, it's a great day to be alive. It's a great day to be a Gator, and I don't care where we stand. We are a orange and blue nation, and that goes to say, we had quite the show last night. And for those of you who did not see it, I went on my own rant. I had a lot to say, and I'm very frustrated myself with a lot of the people who have the audacity to sit there and pretend like they know what's going on, or like they can pretend like they have the answer to this, or that they have this authority to say that Billy Napier isn't the answer. I'm a huge Billy Napier supporter, and I made I made quite a statement, and even I made some hyperbolic statements like I will rename my own page Swamp News to Billy Napier News if I need to, out of spite for some of these people, because that's where I stand personally on my support of this man. And I'm going to hand this over to you here shortly, Johnny C. But just to kind of reset the stage here, folks, in my very very seasoned 38 years, I've watched a lot of great Gator football, and of course, I can say this with a full heart and clear eyes, as they would say in some of these football terms, is that we're nowhere near those great football programs. But what we are is in a complete rebuild mode. And 100%, we were not left with much to work with. Billy Napier is building with probably the emptiest of chests that any Gator coach has ever had to work with, minus Steve Spurrier in the 90s, which is a very different era of football. Now, I'm going to stop before I go back into that rant yesterday, because I promise you I will. But I'm going to hand it over to the man, Johnny C over here, who also he didn't have the chance yesterday that I did, because he was too busy working, as he should have been on a work day. And I know that you also wanted to have some pieces to say, and maybe not exactly what I was going to go into or what I did yesterday, but on your own side of things. So Johnny, why don't you take it over? First Saturday college football, but tell us some of your thoughts, and we'll get in a little bit more. So, and folks, thanks again for watching us today. Give your attention to Johnny C. He's got a few things to rant about.
Yeah, I do. And I appreciate that, Joe. I'll tell you this. Florida fans, and I'm one of them, okay? So I'm not up on a pedestal above you. I'm with you guys. I'm a Florida fan just like you are. And I've got to say that we have to get real about where we are as a program. This is not Swamp Kings. We are far removed from Swamp Kings. And until we come to grips with reality of where we actually are, we are not going to be able to align expectations that are ultimately aligned with reality. And here's the reality. We are unhealthy as a program. We are broken as a program. And it's going to take a long time and hard plowing to get healthy again. So instead of having this mindset of, we want to be in the playoffs this year, and we want to, look what Brian Kelly's doing over at LSU. And instead of looking around like that, you have to understand who we hired. We hired somebody who was the lunch pail, hard hat kind of guy, who's going to be extremely vanilla in his approach, but is building an infrastructure that's built to last. So I've had people on Twitter and on different pages ask me, when will you turn on Billy? When will you? And my answer is very simple. If and when he quits on the team, at that point, I quit on him. Up until that point, I'm with him. So we could lose the next 3 games, God forbid. And if he is still putting his effort in and the team is still with him, I'm with him. I'm with him because my expectations are not that we're competing for a national championship this year. My expectations are we get a foundation poured and solidified so we could actually build a national title team on this foundation. What we have is a bunch of sinkholes all around in Gainesville right now. And you have all these fans that are saying, let's just build a little mound of sand and let's do a flash in the pan. And that's what we need is we need to hire this winner that's going to come in and they're going to revitalize it. But guys, the point is this, we can't depend on the flashes in the pan. And that's what Mullen was. He was not the guy to build the infrastructure. He was the guy to bring some excitement. He was the guy to bring some entertainment, to give us some early success. But as soon as the flaws and the holes in the foundation were exposed, he quit on the team. And I will take anybody on that. I talked to players in person myself, sat with them and had them tell me that towards the end, he didn't even know all their names and that he called team meetings that none of them went to because of how removed he was from the players. That is not so spare me let's rehire Mullen. We should have never gotten rid of Mullen. Mullen secured his extension and threw a grenade on the program. That's what he did. It was a garbage person move, period. And there's no other way that you can convince me. The players knew it. It was obvious when he was gallivanting like a little schoolgirl into the middle of the field after getting beat by an opponent, seeming to be more excited than the team that just won. knowing that he was torching the program in order to take his money and get a nice, comfy studio job, which, by the way, it detests me to see him at halftime. And yet we have all these fans that are going, we should just rehire Mullen. Like, come on. Like, what is wrong with you? I hope some of y'all, man, it's like Stockholm syndrome. This guy absolutely torched the program. He's the last thing that we need. Billy Napier is not going to be fun. He is not going to be exciting in terms of personality. You're never going to hear him take jabs and shots at other coaches. There is nothing, and I repeat, nothing that is going to stimulate the Florida fan base that we are accustomed to with a lot of different coaches and their little gimmicks, whether it's dressing up like Darth Vader or if it's Steve Spurrier with all of his quips, right? We're not going to have that. The last time we had a coach that was this vanilla, his name was, what was it? Oh, yeah, Urban Meyer. The dude was stoic, absolutely stoic. And that's why he got booed after his first year in a Gainesville restaurant. Because everybody was like, well, he ain't nothing like Spurrier. No, we just had that my buddy and me, Ron Zook coach come in. And, he was everybody's friend. And then you have Urban Meyer come in. He does a Simply Orange commercial, which, by the way, made me want to, go blind because of how just unenthusiastic it was. I still remember it like it was yesterday. If you want to be up. Yeah. You want to be a champion, drink Simply Orange. I'm like, dude, but you know what? It didn't matter. We did not care. All right. I had the dude, got right in front of him in a hotel lobby, and he didn't even acknowledge my existence, and I did not care. You know why? Because he was building something special at Florida. And that was in 2006, by the way. That was before we won the title. Everybody knew it. How did you know it? There's this one key indicator, Joe, that everybody should be looking for. It's called recruiting.
Yep.
It's a huge indicator. And by the way, Napier has a 24 class that is so highly recruited. We haven't had one this highly recruited since Urban Meyer. And yet you have these fans that are like, oh, Napier can't do it. Napier can't do it. Okay, fine. Be that way. I'm not going with you. I disagree. Fundamentally disagree. I think he is pouring a foundation that is much needed and necessary if we are going to sustain a winning program again. And I don't care what the record is this year. You maintain that recruiting class and you don't quit on the team, I'm with you 100%, Billy Napier. And you guys can say whatever you want about that. I really don't care. It's not that I don't want to care or I want to convince you that I don't care. It's that I genuinely don't care because I believe in this man. I believe he is building a program. And I believe that those who are wanting to get rid of him, if they don't succeed in getting rid of him this year, I believe that they're going to look back on this time and they're going to realize, hey, you know what? We were wrong. We should have never done that. We should have never thrown him out. Thank God we didn't get our way. That's what I think.
All I can say right now is if you're not giving a bunch of hearts and likes and love to this man right here, you not have a heart and a pulse. But that was epic. And I said something very identical yesterday. And shout out to Sir Swampy, who also relayed a lot of the same points, Mullen, about Mullen. Not nearly as to the moon that you just went, by the way. That was phenomenal. I'm going to clip that and that's going to go viral. I also want to applaud your ability to remember how Mullen literally just died for us. He just like the grenade comment was exactly the appropriate way of describing what he did to our program. Let's rewind back to Urban Meyer's first year and into his second year. Of course, Urban Meyer didn't go into Utah and lose his second year. But he did lose. He did take us into an Auburn game, and we did lose that game at home in the Swamp, if I remember correctly. Right? I think that we all were reminded about that on Swamp Kings. That was a devastating loss, and I'll never forget that loss. And it was a game that we should not have lost to a bad Auburn team. And it was the second year in a row that we had lost to that team. And I remember a lot of people saying Urban didn't have it then. Even in that game. And there was a lot of close games that we should have lost that year again. And a lot of people thought Urban didn't have it. And I remember even throughout that season, Gator fans thinking we weren't winning good enough. And it wasn't until we won the national championship that people shut up. Mm-hmm. And I mean, throughout that season, every single win that Urban had that wasn't sexy enough was still trashed by Gator fans on the message boards.
Yeah.
And people do not remember, like, they were ungrateful then too.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that we lost, and that, I mean, we're until Billy wins and we get through this, we got to beat Tennessee. And the only thing that's going to shut people up right now is if we beat Tennessee. And even if we beat Tennessee and it's not like convincingly, like if we get lucky and beat Tennessee, it's still not going to be like quiet. It'll just chill for a second. But it's going to have to be convincing for people to like literally just leave Billy alone for a minute. And if we don't beat Kentucky, it's going to take a Georgia win for us to literally just have some peace and quiet from our own fans. But I remember genuinely being like, we are only a one-loss team, and people are still trying to fire Urban Meyer and hating on. Now, even though we just trashed Dan Mullen, as an offensive coordinator back then, I love Dan Mullen. Dan Mullen was a fun offensive coordinator to watch call plays.
110%.
So the two different Dan Mullens I'm going to talk about right now, please distinguish the two, right? People hated Dan Mullen's play calls. I wish that Florida fans would get a grip. And I wish that we could just stop being so conceited and arrogant. And I'm not talking about the 80% of us that are genuinely like the ones in the comments, like saying, thank God, thank you for saying this. Like, we're all on the same team, the 80% of us. But the ones that feel the authority to be able to go on there and speak for all of us as if you represent us and that your opinion matters for all of Gator Nation, please stop speaking for everybody else. Distinguish yourself as, I'm speaking for me, and you guys are the idiots. Please at least go off and be individuals and stop acting as if you're speaking for Gator Nation, because you're not, and it's not fair, and it's not authentic. It's literally the dumbest thing on the planet, and it's not going to do anybody any favors. And I said this last night as well, Johnny, and I don't know if you got a chance to see any of the show last night. I don't think you did because you got in late. But one of the things that I was saying was that even if you hate Billy Napier, you are an absolute imbecile if you say it out loud, because you have nothing to do with the decision on what happens to Billy Napier. Your opinion of him only influences recruits, their families, and the overall identity of what others around the program might think, not the actual decision making. And so what's going to happen is, if for some reason Billy doesn't make it to next season, God forbid, I mean, which would be devastating, because who are you going to go get, bro? What coach is going to want to come here after that?
Nobody.
I mean, nobody. But let's just say that happened. I mean, let's just say that he made it through, the recruit sign, and for some reason he shows up, or that he doesn't make it through next year. All those recruits who just were like, oh man, maybe Billy's not going to be here next year, and then they don't stick around because your assholeness is what kept people from wanting to be here now. Well, now we don't have anybody playing football for the Gators. Now we get a bunch of 3-stars instead of all the other 5-stars that could have been signing, or 4 and 5 stars. Like, you're the one, your toxic nature is what's keeping people from wanting to be here. That's the problem. You're the problem, right? This toxic mentality is keeping this program from being what it should be in that case. Now, fortunately, every influencer in Gator Nation, minus 1 or 2, is about the same opinion that me and you have, Johnny C.
Yeah.
And that's
I've seen that too.
I mean, there's 1 or 2 that I've noticed that have latched on to the toxicness, but they are nobodies. I mean, I've talked to Shelton. Me and Shelton had a call today. I was just talking to him about this, about how, like the majority of us who are out there with that have big pages or big groups or big YouTube channels, are like, dude, some of these people or just flat out idiots. I'm not going to put any names out there, but the ones that have decent followings that aren't like that, mainly one on YouTube and one on Twitter, man, they're getting trashed by their own followers now. Like the one, and it's good to see that those are the people that are being, torched by their own followers. So I was happy to see that. But anyways, I love what you said, Johnny C. Thank you for speaking up on that. I'm glad that we were able to get you on finally, because you would have loved what I was saying yesterday, and we could have combined forces on that. But that was beautiful, he said.
Yeah. Well, thank you, man. And probably it's a good thing that I was on here last night doing that, because we would have gone scorched earth. So I think it was good, because you had some time to get out all that, and then I had time today to get all of that out. One other thing that I wanted to bring up, Joe, and this is for our fan base as much as other fan bases, but is it okay if I go ahead and rant for a minute on a phrase that's being used and overused?
Do it.
Okay. All right. So if I still have your attention, please, this is something that needs to be said and has needed to be said for a few years now. The phrase "that didn't age well" is not aging well. Okay. You need to understand something. My mind is blown. Okay, because it's been said for a few years now. And internet shelf life is very, I mean, my milk, when I bring it home from the store, it lasts longer than internet shelf life. So when a new phrase or a new saying starts on the internet and it becomes viral, you can expect it to last maybe a few months, maybe a year, and that's about it. The whole "that didn't age well" phrase is a few years old now, and people are still using it like it's this novel phrase. Now, here's the problem with it, okay? I have a theory as to why, okay? I think because people got burned by it. It hurt people that they're still putting it in their arsenal, hoping to get some kind of vindication by using it over and over again. Okay. Now here's the problem. It's being used in the wrong context to begin with. There's things that I'll post and things that have nothing.
Maybe.
Yeah, there's nothing things that have nothing to do and it doesn't even fit with that kind of phrase, and they use it desperately, redundantly, hoping that they're going to be vindicated from the times they got burnt. And it's like, dude, who hurt you? Okay, we've got to let this go. We've got to move on. That's the first thing about it. The second thing is this. You might be watching this, and you're one of the people I'm talking about. You use that phrase maybe as recently as during the show. I don't know. I'm not reading the comments right now. They're not popping up on my screen. But maybe you've used it. I don't know. Or used it this morning. Okay, or you're sitting there on the edge of your seat hoping to use it again. I have something to say, and you're like, well, see, it's hit a nerve. Look, it's hit a nerve. Yes, you have hit a nerve the same way that a toddler hits a nerve by calling me a duty head. It's not that there's anything inherently offensive about the duty head. That's not it. What bothers me and what hits the nerve is the fact that they've said it 8 million times. Okay? That would hit a nerve. It doesn't matter what you say. So there's nothing inherently offensive to me about that didn't age well. What is causing the reaction right now is that it's been said 8 million times over the last 3 years. It's lost all of its flavor. It's fruit stripe gum. You've got to spit it out and move on, dude. Come up with something original. Come up with something new. But please, for the love of everybody on the internet, stop using the phrase, well, that didn't age well. My goodness, I can't take it anymore, Joe. I'm sorry, but this has been building up in me, man. I had to get it out there. I just can't take it anymore. Yes.
Look, someone literally said my daughter over the summer, she memorized Gator as always, the video that they put out in 2020.
Awesome. That was awesome.
Someone literally wrote "that didn't age well" underneath her video on Facebook. Like, I couldn't believe it. That's why I asked you when you said that you wanted to make a rant about this today. I was like, are you referencing that someone wrote that underneath my daughter's video? Because that literally ages well always, because it wasn't about Utah game. It's literally just a speech that it's called Gators always. It's like, it's relevant. It's evergreen. It doesn't have a timestamp. It literally forever. It's just a speech. I mean,
Joe, dude, I mean, yes, it's like, okay, so the picture I have of Utah's coach, Billy Napier, like, it's just a picture. I've had so many people, that didn't age well. I'm like, what the heck are you talking about? First of all, you're 30 and you look like you're about to be 60. So if you're going to go on that tangent, make sure that you're not living in a glass house throwing rocks first. Secondly, make it make sense. Okay. Like the beat Utah thing, that didn't age well. Yes. Okay. I get that. But there's like so many comments, dozens of people saying that. And I don't know, dude. I don't know if that didn't age well has a committee or cult following that meets together and they high five one another and they go, we all used it 63 times online today. How many times did you use it? And like, there's just this like little, camaraderie amongst them. I don't know what it is. Okay. But for some reason, it stung people to the degree hurt people, Joe. You and I both know this. We've been on that end. Hurt people. And I think it hurt people so badly that they're still using it 3-4 years later, and they're still saying it like they're stacking it like a 7-layer salad in every single post. And it's just like, man, I want to help, but I'm just one guy, Joe. You know,
No, fair enough. I'm just going to let you know, though, Johnny. I have no doubts that all your favorites are now going to make sure that they say that. All the people
oh
that
yeah,
love you
no, I'm gonna get a
from here
shirt
on
made.
out,
I gotta keep my address a secret. I'll start getting like memorabilia with that didn't age well. Like, oh yeah, you're absolutely right.
maybe you should just change your name to that didn't age well. You might have
I
to.
love it. I'll lean into it, man.
It might be something you just might need to own at this point. If it gets bad, because they might be coming for you. No, in all reality, I mean, obviously, I completely agree with you. It gets ridiculous.
Yeah,
It's but the worst ones are the Gator ones that are
yeah,
saying it. It's the ones that are the Gator fans. I respect the Utah. Like, look, I talked a lot of smack to Utah fans. I talked smack directly to Utah fans. Look, come at me. I earned it. I deserve it. I'm okay with it. I came at them. They came at me. That's part of the game. It's part of the fun. I raise the stakes up. If I win, I get to say it back. If they win, they say it to me. Hey, I'm a man of my word, and I'm a man of being receptive of it. I think it's fun and it's lighthearted, it's genuine, it's authentic, and
yeah,
they deserve it, right?
yeah.
It's part of the game.
It
But
is.
when your own fans want to troll you and to look at you and point and say, "Ha, you're bad," I'm like, "We're bad, dude. We're that's us." And I don't understand what you're
Yeah,
saying, and it doesn't do us any good for you to cheer for that, and for you to think you're right about something. They people are they're joyful in their righthood of being right about something that they're not right about. They think they're right because they can predict the short term outcome based off of a a guess. I mean, it's unacceptable at this point, and I'm so sick of it. But all right, let's move on to one more topic, and then we're gonna keep it a little bit short today because I've got some we got football on as well, and we know people are watching back and forth probably. But look, man, college football's here.
yes,
It's an exciting part of the year. The summer heat is hopefully going to start subsiding. I know obviously we're in the dog days, so we're not quite there. I know that as I'm a big Braves fan. I know that that as baseball season starting to come into September, it's an exciting time. The Rays are in the playoff hunt. Braves are in the playoff hunt. You're a Braves fan, right, Johnny C?
no, I'm not a Braves fan. I'm
Oh
sorry.
man,
Yeah,
that's too bad. I know Aaron Joyner and my brother Brett. We'll talk about the Braves some. I knew that you weren't a Braves fan, but I was trying to push you into that because the three of us are, and we're the other the trio of just so you're kind of gonna have to listen to that every now and then. Nevertheless, but as sports in general, this is like my favorite time of the year,
yeah,
and you
same.
know we got we got a great month ahead of us with we next week should be a win. We should have some really fun success. We should see a really fun Gators team flying around, having some fun, both on defense and some offense, and get a different look at what the Gators have been working on all summer. And then we get to walk into the Tennessee game with some confidence and some a different look and different feel of what we may get to see. I think the swamp will provide that environment that we've traditionally seen Tennessee walk into for the last 20 years.
Yeah,
And I'm excited to see that the Gators can get on. And Aaron Joyner made a really good point last night. And that is what happened to LSU last year when they went
mm,
into Florida State and they lost their opening game. And now that's not to say we're going to go in there and win the SEC East and move forward, but all hope ain't lost, boys. It ain't over.
yeah.
It ain't over.
Nope.
We don't have to beat Utah to have a successful season. Now,
Yep.
I didn't see a situation in which we were going to lose this game.
Mm,
Um, and we left, in my opinion, we left a win in Utah. I know we talked about that on the post game show, but I'm going to say this to me, it's exciting to be a Gator again. I saw a lot of things to be excited about in that Utah game and a lot of things that were correctable. We talked about this already, but I'm going to say it one more time. We are going to be a decent football team this year. I saw a win in Utah that we lost,
mhm.
and I think we will still Tennessee. Do you still feel that way, Johnny?
Yeah, I do. As a matter of fact, I see a lot of resemblance between the track that we are on right now as a program versus what Tennessee, the track that Tennessee had to go on to get back to where they are. And, because in the late 90s, man, when Peyton Manning and then T. Martin, who everybody forgets about, even though he won the national title, uh, you know, that they after that, the program ended up imploding under Fulmer. I think Urban Meyer was the death knell to Fulmer, to be honest. He just couldn't keep up. He stopped caring, and he just couldn't do it anymore. And then they went through this circus of coaches, very much like what Florida has had to go through in order to try to rebuild this program. They got so desperate, they brought Phil Fulmer back to be their athletic director. And honestly, it's very eerily similar to how much we've involved the old ball coach in so much that's going on. I've got nothing but love and admiration for Steve Spurrier. I'm talking about the track. That's what I'm talking about. That's it. So but we're trying to, bring back those old feelings, those old good times. And we're trying to reminisce on that, hoping that will kind of propel us into more good times. And we've had a really long, hard road, just the way that Tennessee did. But another reason that I think that Tennessee is actually going to lose in the Swamp is because Tennessee still doesn't have the mentality of winners. As a matter of fact, I've been to probably more Tennessee-Florida games than any other matchup through the years. And I can tell you from firsthand experience that even as recently as last year, Tennessee fans are scared of Florida. They're still scared of Florida. Even after winning last year, they're still scared. Why? Because of how many heartbreaks they've had for over a decade. It was just heartbreak after heartbreak. Florida had them mentally, and I'm not so sure that that's completely changed. As a matter of fact, I'm more sure that it hasn't changed. They don't have a veteran quarterback. They don't have Hendon Hooker anymore, okay? It's going to be a Tennessee team that's going to try to find their new identity. They're going to try to find their new place. And I honestly think that Graham Mertz, his seniority there, his time of being a seasoned quarterback, I think that he's going to shine in that game. And I honestly believe that Florida is going to come away with the win against Tennessee. I know, and Napier needs it. My God, you mentioned this earlier, and it was spot on, Joe. If Napier drops to Tennessee and Kentucky, I'm concerned. I'm very concerned that we won't get to see him next year. I really, and the reason I'm so concerned is because of what the implications that therein. I think we would lose our 24 recruiting class, namely DJ Lagway leading that bunch, and that would be a disaster. And so I'm really hoping that he can beat Tennessee, get that momentum going the right way. We got McNeese State, which is awesome that we have a team like that to try to get, you know what, let's have some fun. Let's get our chemistry together. We've got so many young people and so many young guys that are starting, and so many fans seem to kind of forget about that. We have almost a brand new team that's out there right now. And it's like, last year, Billy got a lot of Mullins guys, and they didn't want to play for Billy. They didn't even want to play for Mullen anymore.
They didn't want to play at all.
They didn't. They honestly did not. And now we have a bunch of freshmen. And it's like, no, we should be out there like Swamp Kings. Dude, go pound sand.
Bro.
Right? It's unrealistic. But that being said, I think we're going to see improvements every week. If we don't see improvements mid-season, if every week we get worse and worse and worse, it changes things. I don't see that happening. I think we're going to get better and better, and I think we're going to beat Tennessee in the Swamp.
Yes, against Utah, I think the returning starters on offense were Pearsall.
Yep.
Obviously, the running backs, but only one running back starts at a time. And Kingsley
and we had no linemen. We had absolutely no line to be able to block
Barber.
those guys.
Austin Barber was the only returning starter who played. Okay, so we had Pearsall, a running back. I guess you can count both running backs, but only one of them is on the field at a time starting. So Pearsall, Barber, running back, I think that's it, right? 3 returning offensive linemen started on offense and 1 on defense, which is Jason Marshall. So 3 returning offensive starters on offense, 1 returning a defensive starter. The rest of everybody playing on Thursday was brand new. Brand new team. Okay. And I hear all these people about Utah had 8 starters out. Well, we had 20 or 18 starters out.
And we were playing in Utah.
I'm okay with the team having to mesh. It sucks. I'm not okay losing games. It sucks. But I'm okay with gelling, hitting this speed bump if it turns into progress.
That's right.
If this is a learning moment that we go get some tape. Damian George sit still, stop moving. Austin Barber, you're a leader. If you move again, I'm going to smack you. Caleb Douglas, why are you moving? Get in procedure. Number 3, Trey, what are you doing? How do you not have a jersey on? What are you, stupid? If this stuff is turned into fixes,
yes,
all right, okay, we move on, right? If we go against McNeese State and we have these penalties, I'm going to go ballistic, and I'm going to I will start to shift opinions, right? If we go to Tennessee and we have 4 false starts and they cause us to not make first downs, I'm going to start to change my opinion. But that has to happen first. I'm going to give Billy the benefit of the doubt until that happens. I understand we had all freaking summer, people, to learn this stuff. It's still the first game of the year, which is completely different than practice or a scrimmage. It's not the same thing. And that shows me none of you ever played football before or sports in general, let alone football. I mean, there is a huge difference than going to even play baseball against a pitcher that's on your team who's not going to hurt you or not going to hit you in the batter's box. When real games go start, it's a completely different, everything changes. Nerves, freaking the environment, especially when you're not playing at home in a college football environment. I mean, there is absolutely no replication of college football, not even the NFL at all, period.
I totally agree with everything you just said. I think we've got this freshman. It's honestly like, I mean, as a musician, I'll use a music analogy. You get a new band together. You got to learn one another. The chemistry isn't there. It doesn't matter if everybody's good at their instrument. Everybody has to learn how to work together, how to play together. They have to learn how the other musicians think. And honestly, a football team moving in the same direction, flowing, it's the same exact thing. I play football and I play music. So it's the same mentality. It's this team effort that takes time to build. You've got mainly freshmen coming out there playing together. You got a quarterback who's brand new to our system, brand new to the team. Nobody knows who he is. They're getting to know him as well. Be patient. It's going to go well. And one thing I would like to say, Joe, to all the fans that are being positive, the ones that are being optimistic or just realistic, you know what? I salute you because you guys are the ones that are carrying this. You're the ones that are going to make Florida appealing to recruits and appealing to their families. We got to remember these people are connected. Every single person is connected and interlocked with other people that they affect and whose lives they affect. Okay, so when we down a player, for example, that affects their family, that affects their family's friends who also have kids, who also are athletes. It just, the ripple effect goes on and on. So you become a positive atmosphere, and it also has an effect. So those fans that are of you that are out there that are being realistic, that are you're trying to be positive. You're not in denial of reality, right? You're not blowing sunshine. You're in touch with reality, but you're trying to be positive and remain optimistic, especially publicly and on the message boards and everywhere else. I salute you because you are going to help get this thing on the right track.
Dude, well said. Well said. I actually I just think the best post I've ever seen in the history of the Gator Nation group, and I'm gonna share it actually.
Awesome.
So give me a second right here. It like literally went up 8 minutes ago. So let me do this real quick. Share this. I actually think I might pin this. I mean, obviously more so as a joke, but it's worth sharing. Look how awesome this is. From now on, you will be required to provide your football playing and coaching credentials before admin approves your post. While he's not a moderator, maybe I should make him one because that is hilarious.
Yeah.
That might be my favorite comment or post I've ever seen in my group. So well done, Doug. I like you already. Anyways, okay. Look, I got to wind this down, Johnny C. I appreciate your thoughts. The Swampcast is going awfully well. For those of you who don't know Johnny C, this is not just a dear friend of mine. This is a great human being. He is all for the Gators. You can follow him on his page. Go join his group, All for the Gators Facebook page and the group, and follow him on Twitter, All for the Gators. We will be doing quite a bit together. He's got a tremendous voice and opinion that I value as both a contributor to the voice of the college football fan, as a whole, and for the Gators. I get a lot from him, but also I value his friendship and overall his leadership within the space. So I thank you very much, Johnny C, for being that person and what we're going to be doing together in our future live casts and swamp casts. We will be announcing more and more as we kind of combine those forces. And folks, you be paying attention. We'll be doing a lot more on YouTube in the future as well, and hopefully maybe even on Spotify, Apple iTunes, etc., wherever you may listen to your podcast in the future. Right, Johnny C? Or am I getting ahead of myself?
No, dude, you're 100% spot on. And honestly, I'm thankful for you as well. I appreciate the sentiment that you just expressed. There's no way that I'm going to be able to articulate anything that good and come up with it. And that's why you are who you are. You do a great job hosting this. I'm proud to be partner. Yeah. Well, okay. I'm proud to be partner with you in this, man. I'm looking forward to it. And I love talking with the fans and interacting with them. I love reading the comments. Wasn't able to do that today. It's probably a technical thing on my end, but absolutely love this, man. Can't wait to do it again, and appreciate the opportunity to be able to do this with you, man. So thank you.
Hey, look, right at the end, Sir Swampy, out of nowhere. Good to see you, Sir Swampy. Hey, I got a text message from Sir Swampy. Also, he said that your mic sounds really good, by the way, Johnny C.
Yeah. Awesome. Has some help from Joe Blackburn there.
No, all you, brother. Anyways, all right, everybody. Thanks for watching today. We'll see you soon. Enjoy your first Saturday of college football. I've already seen some people talking about how Colorado looks good. I'm actually intrigued to go watch it. I haven't even seen it yet, so don't even know the score. So don't ruin it for me, nobody. But thanks again, Johnny C. We'll see y'all soon. Go Gators, everybody.
Go Gators.
Chop, chop. We'll see you a week from today. McNeese State and obviously Tennessee in 2.
Awesome.
Until next time, everyone. See you soon.